Hey Tribe, what's up? Another Sunday coffee talk. I'm gonna go in here in the kitchen here in a second and feel a little bit dangerous today because this is my second glass of coffee. Had my first one, then I drank my collagen. Now I'm gonna make another glass of coffee and we'll chat along the way. Lucky and Money are passed out in the kitchen. I'll try to show you. Because they were playing really hard this morning. That's why I didn't do a coffee. I've been up for a couple hours already, so that's why I didn't do a coffee talk. I'm sure you didn't want to see me walking around playing with the puppies in my boxers. So I didn't want to scare everybody too much. so, so they're passed out here. I'll try to show you. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they were playing hard. We gave them some bones and stuff like that to chew on, so they're passed out. So I don't feel like turning off the video, moving around the camera. So that could have been a crappy shot, but I apologize. I'll do another angle. They look really kind of cute. They look innocent, but they're really not. You see that? See them just passed out, how innocent they look? But anyway, we got the coffee pot going. Let me set up the cam here. Then we're going. Today's is going to be more of a casual little talk. Kind of what's coming up, what I've been doing, what I'm thinking. Most of it is just have to look in this because in Thailand, a lot of these Thai houses, but most people don't. I feel like I'm whispering because they're sleeping, but I feel like I'm just doing. Hey, don't wake up the little puppies. but But sometimes in Thailand, a lot of these Thai houses, they're just infested with ants. Like, I mean infested. Like they don't, I mean like in the States or Europe or whatever, usually if you get ants, you can kind of locate one spot of your house they're coming from. But in Thailand, it's literally all over, especially when you live out in the village. That's where you kind of get a little bit more experience with the bugs. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for, just in case. But a couple of things. I think before we get started on Sunday Coffee Talk, always remember that we have the Super Thanks Spotlight. That's where you leave a Super Thanks and a question. And the question can be about anything. It could be success, manifesting, living life on your terms. And that's what we focus on. That's what we discuss every Sunday. So we always got that going on. Let me grab a water. So that's another thing we did. I think I talked about it last Sunday. I had to buy new water because we found out that water we were buying, they weren't cleaning the reverse osmosis machine properly, and the water was dirty. So we canceled with him. We had him come and pick up all his like 5 gallon jugs or whatever he drops off. He was basically kind of pissed off because we canceled him because Aang talked to him in Thai and say your water's dirty, you know. And then he was trying to like, oh well, you know, and I guess it's like from talking to Aang, I guess it's like it's pretty a common issue in Thailand, which is kind of pretty scary because they're basically break it down to two types of water in Thailand. You got water you cook with and water you drink. So they're sitting there and tell you, well, you can only cook with this water. And it's like, no. I mean, if you want to drink it, you shouldn't be cooking with it. But that's a whole nother time for a topic. So anyway, I went out, see all those bottles of water. I went out and bought like 20 packs. We got that water going on. Of course, I still got my machine here. But when we first came up here, I had my own 5 gallon tank, but somebody stole it. so, so I have to buy another one of those. And that way I can kind of be in more control and fill it up with the water I buy, and at least put like a 5 gallon tank on top. Uh, so, so that was a little bit of an adventure, learning experience. And because it's kind of like an oxymoron. I kind of love that word lately. Because I mean, I mean, they buy these huge. You see them in condos. Okay, when I lived at La Casita in my condo, they had one like on their first floor. There's these huge reverse osmosis machines, and cost some money. They're big machines. I mean, they're huge. I mean, they stand taller than me, and they're like flipping huge. But they don't clean them. They don't maintenance them. They don't replace the filters. All they do is just fix them if they break, so they're not cleaning the water. You know what I mean? Um, so this wasn't really a water talk, but 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 it's been a little like he's waking up over there. He peeked up his head. Money peeked up his head and was like, "What's?" He's looking at me with his tired eyes, like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" Probably, if animals could probably talk, it would probably be hilarious because the expressions on their face is kind of like, what? It's like, are you talking to me? Why do you keep on yakking over there? uh so so I got the coffee, the water boiling for the coffee, got some water. I'm going to show you a little bit what I do. This is kind of my morning routine, even though it's a couple hours late. Usually what I do, I grab the water. I know it's plastic. I usually don't like drinking out of plastic, but I got to do what I got to do in Thailand. This is the cleanest water you can buy. Unfortunately, it's in plastic. Uh, so you can do this at home. Is go out, buy some Himalayan salt. This is the best I can do in Thailand. Usually in the States, you can buy a great big sack of it, probably for the same price I bought this. and and usually I'll add a little bit in my water, because usually you want the minerals from the salt to remineralize the water. Then that helps you absorb water in your body quicker. I do know a lot about this. I mean, I used to be, I mean, I still am, but I used to be in crazy health mode. Uh, and what was I going to say? I keep on losing my train of thought. Um, Even when I went to college, like my first degree was in dietetics, was in nutrition. So that's what I did beginning of my career. I worked for hospitals for 8 years as a dietitian. Um, then it kind of snowballed from there, because even though I don't do it anymore, I used to be raw vegan. Now I mean truly raw vegan. Got crazy with it, and so I know a lot about health. I mean, I don't do so many videos on it, just because I don't know how deep you can go pretty much without getting shut down. Um, that's the kind of nature of the game when you start talking about health and nutrition. But if you'd like to know more about that, comment below, because I do know a lot about it. So usually what I do it kind of when I'm super thirsty in the morning. I know this is gross, but I take my Himalayan salt, I lick my hand. Okay, my hand's clean. I sprinkle some salt on there. Even though it looks like I'm doing a lot, I'm not, because it's slowly coming out. I lick the salt. Then I drink the water. Not the whole thing, but I drink, you have to understand, like, with Himalayan salt, I mean, it used to be, I don't know, like maybe 70, 80 minerals in Himalayan salt. You don't want to do processed salt. The white table salt that we know it's processed. Uh, Bottom line, same when we eat white sugar, it's processed. White sugar, it's processed the same way they make cocaine. Okay? It's the same extraction process. That's what makes cocaine comes from the cocoa leaf. The cocoa leaf by itself is actually healthy, but the way they extract it makes it very, very, very addictive. They use the same extraction process when they process salt and sugar. Did you know that? That's why salt and sugar process is very, 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 very addictive. Wonder why. but anyway, so what else I do? I take this, let me get this going here. Take my good old water, and that's just to put a little bit of salt in there. Let it absorb, not too much. You don't want to put so much where you can taste it. You only put in a little bit where you can't taste it. Okay. You can also make Soleil water. You can make Soleil water, then you can do it as well. Put a couple drops of Soleil water on there. Soleil water, all you do, doing a health talk, but all you do is you take a 32-ounce mason jar, go buy Himalayan salt, fill the mason jar halfway up with salt. Then from there, fill the mason jar all the way up with water, put the lid on it, let it sit there for 24 hours. That turns it into salt water, Soleil water, and you can take a couple drops and drop in your water. That's all you need. But you can also cook with it. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're cooking, like a recipe calls for 1 teaspoon salt, you can use 1 teaspoon Soleil water. But I mean, some health talk there. So my coffee is done. Let me come over here. After I hydrate, I dehydrate by drinking coffee. So, as you know, since I'm talking healthy today, is coffee is a diuretic. So let's get this going. What was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about a couple things here. One, my routine, and two, I've been talking about this for a while, on and off, and kind of do a lot more like vlog style videos. I do a lot on the tribe side. If you're on the tribe side, honestly, on the tribe side, I actually do a lot of vlog style videos like this on the tribe, because as I'm doing something, I'm talking and kind of just casually chatting on the tribe. That's kind of on the public Facebook, on the public YouTube side, I'm trying to put in more vlog style videos, not so many videos that it looks like I spent 8 hours editing it. So usually on the tribe side, there's way more of a personal touch to the videos. Let me take a sip of coffee. It's going to be hot. So, but what I mean by that is just kind of sharing. There's a bird chirping over there. Like, well, let's sit on the floor. So kind of on the tribes, so what was I talking about here? So basically, being able to do more vlog style stuff. I can kind of share more about who I am, share my lifestyle. Right now I'm in Thailand. I go back and forth between Thailand and the United States. So I travel around Thailand, travel around the surrounding countries of Thailand and stuff like that. And just to get more comfortable doing it, like sometimes it's probably because I'm older. I didn't grow up with iPhones and stuff like that and doing vlogs. And so sometimes I think about doing it, but I'm kind of like, when you watch other people's vlogs, and I'm not saying I'm going to do this, is like they take you with you on the day-to-day activities. Oh, I'm gonna go grab a Thai tea. Come with me today, and I'll shoot it and talk and chat. And like for me, I'm kind of like, why do I want to do that? Why do people want to watch that stuff? I don't want to watch it. But I think what it really does is it shows that human side of you. You know what I mean? It shows I'm not polished. Like a lot of my videos aren't polished. Like sometimes I look sleepy in the videos because that's when I feel like talking about stuff. And I put a hat on my head because that way you don't see my rooster hair. Um, so, y- so I mean, I try to be as authentic as I can in my videos, but I think taking it up a level, like really doing vlog and vlog style and get more comfortable with it. I think I want to blend in with my channel, blend in with Live Life on Your Terms because it's about everything. You know what I mean? Like I do a lot of videos on, of course, the brand is Live Life on Your Terms. Being able to do what you want when you want, whenever you want. Designing your life how you want it to be. Bottom line, okay? And we talk a lot about manifesting and success, how to get manifesting to work with you, work for you. And that's not going to go away. That's going to be the main premise. But I'm just going to kind of add in videos of day-to-day stuff, and 'cause I think that's important. I think that's important to see that side of me. And I think that's sometimes in the business arena, when you get in business, you get professional. I mean, a lot of people don't show that side to them. And I'm sure we can agree on that. Even a lot of people maybe you follow in the success manifesting world, you only see the professional side of them. You don't see how they truly live. You don't see their day to day. And um maybe they do it on purpose. But it's but 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 I mean, that's just something it's kind of like even with my intuition, when we talk a lot about intuition, it's kind of like looks like that like yellow basket sitting right on top of my head. But but what was I saying? Uh, got my hair cut. Got my hair cut too. Um, but like with my intuition, I just my intuition's really been screaming about my gut feelings really been screaming about doing more vlog, especially going live, doing more lives, and and yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just it's always in the back of my mind, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, and I'm not following it. I'm not taking my flipping own advice. You know what I mean? And so I mean, I got to do it. I got to practice while I preach, baby. And that's why I kind of was thinking about my schedule because, changing around my schedule because right now it's not a bad habit. Sometimes me changing around my schedule a little bit, sometimes it's a dopamine fix a little because when we talk about high functioning autism and stuff like that, sometimes the, it's a superpower, but sometimes it can be, you can get bored doing things, you know what I mean? And a lot of times I'll stay in the same arena, like with Live Life in Your Terms, but I'll just like move things around. So I kind of get that dopamine fix. I'll switch around my schedule. And when I started thinking about, I need to do more vlogs. I need to do way more lives, live streams, at least a few times a week. You know what I mean? Uh, and one of the things I noticed was in my schedule is like when I would get up in the morning, I would get my coffee, whatever, I would feel like filming a video. So I would film a video. Then what I would do is sometimes I would be in the mood to kind of film other videos, or I would have planned for me to go live later on in that day, maybe a couple hours later, go live. But then I would get caught up with this one video. And because I would film a video, after I would film the video, I would upload it to my computer, then move it over to my editing software, and then whatever how long it took me to edit it. If it was a simple one, maybe it took me 30 minutes, an hour to edit. If it's a hard or deeper edit, maybe I had two cameras going on. I mean, sometimes it can easily take 3-4 hours to edit a video. That's depending upon how long the video was too. But then after I edit a video, then I download it to my computer from the editing software. Then once it's downloaded, I upload it to YouTube. Then after I upload it, then I finish it. I finish everything on YouTube, like the descriptions and tags and all the SEO stuff that comes with it, the thumbnail. So I'll complete the thumbnail. So basically, when I film a video, I'll complete every single step. So that's what I'm kind of talking about. I'll get caught up with one video from start to finish, but then I'll get laser focused on it, and then I don't go live because it takes up too much time. And or I don't do another video, or I don't do a vlog because it kind of puts me out of the mood because it's taken so long, or taking up most of the day, kind of most of the time. Lots of times by the time I'm done, it's like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. already. Uh, so I'm kind of like moving around my schedule where maybe it's around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. when I actually sit down to edit. But during the daytime, I'm pretty much kind of filming, going live, doing videos, doing vlogs, something like that. It might not be every single day, but kind of rearranging my schedule. And lots of times as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to think about that too. Okay, you have to, even if you're not an entrepreneur, I can spin it the other way too. You have to rearrange your schedule. But that's the whole point of living life on your terms. You're rearranging your life how you want, baby. Okay, you're rearranging your life how so you can live that most successful version of you. You can keep basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep yourself in a peak state. That's what you're trying to do. So, that's what I'm talking about. That's all I'm doing is this, I need to kind of rearrange my schedule to kind of be in a peak state. Because right now, kind of way I'm doing it, it's doing stuff from start to finish. Yeah, it's good. It seems logical, but like I'm drained on the finish side of things where I just need to switch it up a little bit. And it kind of reminded me, this is on the entrepreneur side. It kind of reminded me way back in the day when I used to work in sales, and I mean old school sales. I mean, this was before digital marketing. And I remember when I would hire people, because I did recruiting sales also. I know I was in charge. I was in charge of building the account, building the business, building the account I worked out of. And one of the things I've learned is like when you hire salesmen, everybody has an employee mentality. You understand? And meaning like they end up they work on the wrong things during the wrong times of the day, and they wonder why they're not making money in sales. So lots of times with all my staff would come talk to me, and they would say, "Well, I'm not making money in sales. I'm struggling making money." Like back then, I already knew kind of what they were doing. I already knew what they were doing wrong. So lots of times I would, in the beginning, I would sit down and talk to them. That kind of ask, well, why do you think you're not making money? Because I kind of want to see what they say first before I offer advice and help them, not just give them advice. But the biggest thing, what they would do is, they would be, doing paperwork when they should be making sales calls, when they should be out meeting people, when they should be recruiting, they're doing paperwork. You see what I'm saying? And this is kind of old school. So that's basically what I would tell them is like, well, you're working on the wrong things during the wrong time of the day. That's why you're not making money. You need to work on the right things at the right time because you're on 100% commission, baby. And now some people were employees, you paid them. And then some, most of the salesmen were on 100% commission. So it's different when you work on 100% commission. You're not collecting a paycheck. It's not like when you go to work and you paid hourly, you go to work sick and you're just kind of there, but you're not doing anything, but you still collect a paycheck. Okay, you're sitting in the bathroom most of the time, but you're still getting a paycheck. You're still getting paid. But when you work in commission sales, well, when you're sick, you're not making money. Or when you're working on the wrong things during the wrong time, again, you're not making money. So lots of times I would tell them exactly that. You're doing paperwork and office work when you should be talking to people. So back in the day, this is how I ran my schedule really fast. And this is kind of leads up to kind of what I was thinking is is when I got to the office at 7, 8 a.m. From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I worked on office stuff. Like I would work on, like I would have to call the home office for things. I'm filling out paperwork, meaning like when you did make a sale, you had to finish all the paperwork with the sale. There was a ton of paperwork along with it. Then if you had questions with the home office, it gave you time to call the home office. And I did that between 8 to 10 a.m. The reason why I did it from 8 to 10 a.m. is because from 8 to 10 a.m., it's really too early to make phone calls. It's too early to go out and about and to meet people, have business lunches and stuff like that. It's just too early. Okay. So that's a good time to work on administrative things. So that's what I would do from 8 to 10 a.m. But once 10 a.m. hit, I stopped doing administrative work. I stopped. And, from 10 a.m. till how I did it from 10 a.m. to like noon, because noon was around lunchtime. So from 10 a.m. to noon, that's when I switched gears and I would do recruiting. I would call everybody on my team, call the staff. I would follow up with clients I need to follow up with. That's when I started making phone calls. Okay. And I would do that up till lunch. Then I would go to lunch, then come back. But after lunch, from like 1 to 5 p.m., 1 to 4 p.m., I would do the same exact thing. It's maybe you have training appointments, maybe you had an appointment, maybe you have client appointments, you made phone calls, maybe you go out and about. Because lots of times back then, you're basically you're always networking. That's what I mean by going out and about. Okay, you're always putting yourself in situations where you're networking and talking to people and stuff like that. So that's why you end up making a lot of money. You're making sales because that's what you're doing. So then around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., that's when people start getting off work. They're going to dinner. They're at home eating dinner. That's not the best time to uh, to go out and about and make client calls and stuff like that. It's kind of like a downtime. So that's another opportunity. Either you're taking a break or going to dinner yourself or going home to eat or whatever, or you're working on administrative stuff. You understand? And then from maybe like 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. is when if you had a client appointments in the evening. When people work during the day, you would meet with clients in the evening. So that was kind of at nighttime. So nighttime from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., either it was more of an administrative time to get administrative stuff done because that's off hours, or you're meeting with a client. That's how I ran my schedule. And I kind of fine tuned it. Like that was my schedule Monday through Thursday. Fridays I would only work half a day back in the day. So I'd work 4 days a week, Monday through Friday. Friday was half a day. So I would go in like 8 in the morning, work till noon, and that's about it. Just to kind of follow up, do administrative stuff, do calls, client calls. On Fridays, I met with nobody because what I learned a long time ago is Friday people's mind clicks out. When you're trying to sell on Friday, is people's in weekend mode. So either they cancel their appointments or they do no shows on Fridays. So I learned the hard way with that, where I met with nobody on Fridays because they're in weekend mode. And then I worked half a day on Saturday. I would work from like 8 a.m. to noon on Saturday. Then Saturday was the same thing. I didn't really meet people on Saturday. The only way I met with them on Saturday is if they came to the office. I didn't go to them. They came to the office, around that 8 a.m. to noon time. Maybe I'll meet with them up to 2 p.m. But I didn't go any later than that because, again, you're faltering into the weekend. People's in weekend mode. Sunday, 100% took off. Then that was my week. Back in the day, that's how I ran it. Now nowadays there's a twist and turn with things because now with digital marketing, it kind of feels like you can work 24 hours a day. So then that's what I was kind of feeling this week. I kind of been feeling it for a while, honestly, where I need to switch up my schedule. I kind of need to do my schedule not exactly how I liked it, like I did it back in the day, but I need to kind of fine tune it to so I work at peak level where if my whole goal is to make videos, go live, do vlogs, well, there's only a certain amount of time to do that stuff. You know what I mean? I have to do that stuff during daylight hours while I got the best lighting. I don't film too much at nighttime. I'm in Thailand, it pretty much gets dark. It starts getting dark by 6 p.m. year round. So you start losing light by 6 p.m. And so, so it's just kind of like fine tuning how I work at a peak level. So I'm kind of doing the same thing now. It's not going to be the exact schedule, but I know this is a long answer to I just felt like talking about this stuff. Um, and then and if I know you're listening, it helps out some people, because the whole thing is like, and I said this already, I'm repeating myself, but you live life on your terms. The whole point with manifesting, living life on your terms, being that most successful version of you, is designing your life exactly how you want it. Okay, and that means that comes down to your schedule. It doesn't always mean your money, dream car, and all that stuff. That comes with it. The material stuff comes with it. Money comes with it. Okay. But it's about designing your life exactly how you want it. And it comes down to your schedule. And it comes down to how, you know, you start being sensitive. You start becoming self aware of, well, I'm not, I don't feel like I'm in the peak state. You know what I mean? And, and then usually if I don't feel like I'm in the peak state, I'm doing something. I'm doing something in my schedule that's draining me, and I got to figure out what it is. And lots of times it's just moving things around a little bit. But I know that's a really long answer. You know what I mean? Lucky came over and laid with me. He's sitting right beside me. He's sleepy. I thought maybe he would come over and be jumping on me or stuff like that, but they were playing really hard this morning, chewing on their bones and playing and fighting between each other. Uh, so he's a sleepy little man. Then I don't know if you can see. Yeah, she's like right there. I'm gonna get my hand pointed right there. That's Money. She's passed out over there. So he's and they are brother and sister, even though they look totally different. Um, I did see their parents. We went and I saw them laying out by the house. The parents were pretty big. Lucky actually, like this one right here, Lucky actually looks like the dad, and Money over here, she doesn't look 100% like the mom. The mom was tan, but kind of she looks like in between. She got the in between mix of the mom and the dad. So, but Lucky here laying beside me, he really looks like the dad. Uh, but they've been ornery little boogers. We're going to take them today to get their first round of shots. So that should be fun. Um, we'll see how they behave. But they're not bad or anything. Um, I mean, training them has been a little bit of a kind of a little booger a little bit because one, they're young and, try to potty train young. They're like, they're babies, you know, how it is if you have puppies and stuff like that. They're catching on slowly. Plus, like in Thailand, you know, most of the time when dogs have puppies, they're just on the street. They're not house pets. You know what I mean? They're pets, but it's different in Thailand. Like somebody owns them, but they just live outside. And lots of time they scavenge for food. Lots of time the owners don't even feed them, or they feed them table scraps. But the bottom line, I've said it before, if they have no leftover food or they have no table scraps, that means your pet don't eat. So they're kind of brought up to kind of rummage and scavenge, look for food, stuff like that. So that's what I mean, kind of a street dog. You hear me say street dog. That's kind of what I mean a little bit. And so when we pick them up, since they've been here, you could tell they kind of had that. It's kind of funny talking like this, that street dog mentality. Like if they got scared, like in the kitchen here, if they got scared, they would run and hide. Like that's because that's what they did outside. If something scared them, they're hiding because they're tiny, and so they would run and hide, or they would just walk around and just pee wherever. That's normal when they're a puppy, but it they really have no human interaction. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody's going outside and sitting with them like I'm doing. Um, so they got human interaction. Lots of times there's zero. Uh, so that's why he comes over and sits by me. And that's why I'm kind of sitting on the floor. Usually, if they were awake and hyper, dude, they would be jumping all over me, wanting to play. They would be running around, fighting each other and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have Lucky's a boy, Money's a girl. So the brother and sister, and it's kind of cool to always have like a sibling of the pets. Um, so so that's always a cool experience. I haven't had that experience for a while. Like when I was brought up, when I grew up, my dad was a hunter, and then he would breed coonhounds and stuff like that. So when I was growing up, most of my life, I mean, my dad always had like 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 coonhounds outside that I would have to take care of. That was like a daily chore. He had them outside. They lived outside, like hunting dogs and stuff like that. Then when he would breed them and they would have puppies, then I would have to take care of them. So so it kind of so we kind of have that experience growing up, especially when they have puppies and you see like 10, 12. We had a litter one time that was huge. We had like 16. I forget how many now. 16, 7. I don't know if she had like 19 altogether. I can't remember if it was 20, but I think she had 19 altogether, and 3 died, and there was like 16. She had like a huge litter, huge litter. But it's always a cool experience, like when you have that many, and once they're like 6, 7 weeks old, and they're all running around like a pack, and playing and stuff like that. It's always a cool experience. So that's what kind of reminded me when we got Lucky and Money, because they at least know each other, and when you're bringing them into a new environment. So so Lucky's waking up there a little bit. Let's see, he's waking up. Yeah. So, but anyway, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. Got my coffee here. He'll probably go over. He's probably thirsty now. It's starting. It's going to be hot today. I can tell. But he's probably going to go over and pick on Money's over there sleeping. Let's put him on camera here. See if he goes over there, and he might have to pee. Hey, let's go outside. Come. Yeah, they're waking up because I was like, let's go outside. I'm afraid he's going to pee, as I'm thinking like he's going to go over and wake up Money over there. Oh, yeah, we'll see. I'll open the door. Usually they don't pee on their bed, but the way he was kind of walking, when they just wake up from a nap, they usually have to go to the bathroom. We're come down here. Now he's coming over. Now he's coming over. What? Now you're coming over, huh? Now you're coming over. Now you guys are waking up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So now Money, this one right here, she's kind of been bad. She's been bad the last few days. She's been going outside and running around the wall and getting into the big grass. And like usually the last 3 days, I've had to go get her like 3, 4 times each day. So she's been getting spanked. I have to spank her, okay? I know some of you guys out there, oh my God, you spank them. But they're looking at me when I did that. They're like, what the hell? But you have to spank them, dude, because I'll show you. And I'll tell you why is okay, we got the wall here. It's not done yet. It looks ugly, but behind the wall is all this grass right here. Now this is actually pretty deep. There's probably at least a foot of water in there that you can't see. But in Thailand, especially around here, you know, you see these trees here, all these trees back in the back here. These are snake trees, okay? And in Thailand, there's huge ass snakes here. And then even Aang told me, even how big they are, a snake will kill them. So especially since it's rainy season and it's cooler, the snakes come up closer. And so you don't want them to get two things. You don't want them to get, you don't want a snake to catch them. And there's also other street dogs around here, like way over here at this house and stuff like that. You just don't want another dog attack them or something like that. But they're too tiny. But the biggest thing is just the snakes. And with Thailand, they got big snakes, super big snakes. We got one in the house not too long ago. That sucker is kind of big. I mean, the body was at least this flippin' thick. I'm not even joking, like that thick of a body. And then Aang said, it's funny when I talked to Aang about this, because I asked Aang before, what type of snakes you have here? And they're like, oh, we got big ones. You know, she's like, I know the name in Thai, but I don't know what you call them in English. You know, it's a type of snake. She's standing here like this type of snake that when you're standing, they wrap around your body and just crush you and eat you. She's like, those type of snakes. What do you call them, Chad? I'm like, I don't know, like a python or something like that. She's like, yeah, like those type of snakes. And she's like, even that down by her rice field, when I show like other videos of like, it's not a river, but it's like a creek. She's like, dude, there's snakes down there like that big around. She's like, I'm not joking. They're like that big around. It's like, I mean, I've seen them on TV and kind of in zoos and stuff like that, but not in the wild. I mean, you don't want to run up to a snake like that when you're kind of in the wild. So yeah, when I talk about snakes here, I'm really talking about snakes. So they kind of disappeared. I need to go look at them, make sure they don't, as I'm talking about it, make sure, oh, there they are, they're right here. She's looking at something. They're over in here. So just make sure they don't. Now, Lucky's been pretty good with this because Lucky has, so I'm like leaning over just to make sure. Lucky the male, he's gotten bit, I think about 3 times by the bigger dogs, like more like a warning snap. So he's a little bit more scared. But the girl, Money, she hasn't been like bit or anything. So she's a little bit more adventurous, going farther than she could or she should. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. It's getting about 45 minutes. And oh, see, there she's coming in. There she's coming in. I just have to go find Lucky to make sure what he's doing. Make sure he's not doing anything bad. And but anyway, nice chatting. Remember, if you have a question or anything, remember we always got the Super Thanks Spotlight going on, and that is where you leave a Super Thanks, attach a question to it, and that's what we talk about on Sundays. But anyway, peace out, and I'll see you next Sunday.